Man. Fuck you, Curry. Bitch. Fuck. Fuck.
Hey, hold up.
Fuck. Fuck, I lost too much money on that shit. You fucking bitch. Fuck off.
Hey, it's just a game. It's just a game. It's just a game.
Move, dog. I lost too much money on that shit, dog. Real talk, man.
What up? It's your boy, back again. Marlo Knows Basketball and Marlo Knows Boxing. Back at y'all with another one. Man, it's bittersweet, man. I know it's bittersweet for Warriors fans, man. It's finally come to an end. It's finally over. All of that false hope, all of that lucky stuff, we gonna cut all that lucky stuff out now. The league ain't having it no more. These guys are old. It's a wrap, man. They got 4 rings. 2 with KD. 2 with just the 3 of them. But it's over now. Clay, Steph, Draymond, Hall of Famers. But your time is up. And Warriors fans have had this false sense of confidence for far too long now. Now it's time to cut it out, man. It's time to be real. It's time to be real with yourself. These YouTube channels be fanboying, the Swiss Centrals and the Hoop Reports trying to give y'all false hope. I mean, that worked in 2022 because y'all got lucky. And y'all played a bunch of teams in the playoffs that weren't that good. And let's start with the Denver Nuggets, man. Yeah, y'all beat the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs in 2022 with no Michael Porter Jr. and no Jamal Murray. So you essentially remove the second and third best players from that team, and you're just playing against Jokic. They just loaded up on Jokic, and Jokic had no help. That's a cakewalk, man. Beating the Nuggets with no Jamal Murray and no Michael Porter Jr. is a cakewalk. It's a cakewalk. That same team the year prior in 2021 couldn't make it past. They couldn't make it past the Clippers. They couldn't make it past the Clippers with no Kawhi Leonard. Just Paul George by himself. They hadn't had James Harden. They didn't have James Harden yet. They didn't have Russell Westbrook yet. So that same Denver team lost in the second round to the Clippers. And really, they didn't lose to the Clippers. I can't even say they lost to the Clippers. Let me stop saying that. They lost to Paul George. So it's not impressive that the Warriors were able to beat a team that couldn't beat Paul George. So stop it. And then the next team that they beat in the second round of the playoffs during their 2022 run was the Grizzlies. They beat the Grizzlies. The same Grizzlies that got mollywopped in the first round against the Lakers last year. That same Grizzlies team. So yeah, the Grizzlies was another tomato can, and LeBron and AD showed y'all that last year by mollywopping them in the first round of the playoffs last year. And then we move on to the Mavs, Luka and Jalen Brunson. And don't try to act like this is the same Jalen Brunson that we're seeing now. They beat Luka with the Jalen Brunson averaging 16 points a game. He wasn't averaging 26 like he is now with the Knicks. That was not the same Jalen Brunson. So stop it. They got lucky that Luka and the 16 points per game Jalen Brunson was able to take out the Suns, so the Warriors could avoid the only competition that they had in the West that year. So they had a cakewalk through the West, and they went to the finals. And a lot of people would say, oh, well, they beat the Celtics. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. I don't know about that. Are we talking about the same Celtics that Jimmy Butler had down 3-0 last year in the playoffs? Is that the same Celtics you talking about? The same Celtics that Jimmy Butler made to look like a joke last year? Jimmy Butler owned the Celtics. He owned the Celtics. Jimmy Butler was out there looking like MJ in his prime. He was out there looking like 1998 Michael Jordan against the Celtics. Dominated the Celtics. Get him up out of here. Had him down 3-0. They should have swept him, to be honest. And that was who the Warriors beat in the finals. We'll see what the Celtics look like this year if they choke again. They don't have to worry about Hemi. They lucky he got injured. Otherwise, they probably would have ran into him again this year and got dominated just like they did last year. So, yeah, the Warriors beating the Celtics, I mean, that was the only decent opponent that they beat that year. But Jimmy Butler showed everybody that that's not an impossible feat. He made it look pretty easy, to be honest. Then that brings us to last year. The same Warriors team that won the championship in 2022 come back in 2023, same roster, couldn't win a game on the road. They did their thing against the Kings. You know, Curry had that amazing Game 7. So yeah, props to him for that. But they barely beat the Kings. Took them 7 games. And they're lucky that Harrison Barnes didn't hit that 3 in Game 4. They would have been down 3-1. They wouldn't have got past the Kings. But nevertheless, they get to the Lakers. And we see a matchup between the 2022 champions and the 2020 champions. And the Lakers basically showed you why the Warriors were lucky in 2022. They showed you why. That wasn't the same West. The Lakers were better than every single opponent that the Warriors beat on the road to their championship in 2022. And it showed they were dominated. Anthony Davis was a demon on defense. They couldn't get anything in the paint. And they fell apart. And then that brings us to 2024. In a must-win game to save their season, the 10th seed Warriors lose by 24 points to a Malik Monk-less Sacramento Kings. No Malik Monk, no Kevin Huerter, and they still blow the Warriors out by 24 points and send them home. First team to go home out of all of the playoff and play-in teams. And then the Kings themselves go to New Orleans and lose, but they didn't just lose, they were blown out themselves by a Zion Williamson less New Orleans Pelicans. So the Kings were not good either. But they blew the Warriors out in a game that the Warriors needed to save their season. Klay Thompson goes 0 for 10. Curry only scores 22 points with 2 assists and 6 turnovers. I'm still seeing hoop reports in these other Warriors fanboy channels talking about, oh, it's not over. The league just dodged a bullet. The league just dodged a bullet. They got blown out by the Kings in a must-win game by 24 points. The same Kings that couldn't beat the Pelicans with no Zion Williamson. The Warriors were the 10th best team in the West, just like their record said. Next year, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are going to be 35 years old. Stephen Curry is going to be 37. It's over, man. Just give it up. Give it up. It's over. The Warriors are not winning any more championships as presently constructed. They're not going to be able to get another superstar to come there. We've seen how that worked out with Kevin Durant. Because if a superstar comes there and helps them out, Stephen Curry's still going to get all the credit, even though KD was the best player on the team. It's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. Just stop it. It's over. It's over. The only narrative, the narrative that Hoop Reports, fanboy channels like that are trying to use, well, they finished out the season with the 4th best record in the league. So that shows that they're still an elite team. I call BS. I call BS. Look at the wins that they had at the end of the season. They weren't beating good teams, bro. They weren't beating good teams. They had wins against the San Antonio Spurs, who were trash. They're like the second or third worst team in the West. They beat the Mavericks. That's a good win. You beat the Lakers with no LeBron James. You lose to the Knicks. You beat the Grizzlies, tomato can. You beat the Miami Heat with no Jimmy Butler, again, tomato can. You beat the Magic, fakers. I got Cavs in 5. You beat the Charlotte Hornets with no LaMelo Ball, tomato can. You beat the Spurs again. You get to play the Spurs again. How many times are you gonna get to play the Spurs? Tomato can. You beat the Mavericks. That's a good win. That's a good win. Okay, good win by beating the Mavericks. And scratch that, you lost the first time. Beat the Mavericks. You beat the Rockets again, tomato can. You lose to the Mavericks. You lose to the Mavericks again for the second time in 3 games with no Luka. And this is you talking about a team that's closing out the season like this. This is showing you that they're still an elite team. You beat the Utah Jazz, another tomato can. You beat the Lakers with no Anthony Davis, and then you beat the Portland Trail Blazers to close out the season, another tomato can. And this is what gives y'all the confidence to say that this is still an elite team. Stop it, man. Either y'all casuals or y'all delusional or y'all both. It's over, man. It's over. It's over now. It's over.
And this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.